Hello everyone, how's it going? It's Connor, and this is Day in Review. Halloween is coming up and it is very, very spooky. Yeah. Not really though. I was at Tim Hortons. Real fruit smoothies are good. Just got back from school and I got a 90 on a tech project and a 95 on a tech test. I'm doing good. I finished this music project I had due on Bristol board, but we don't present. I don't get the point of making a Bristol board if you don't present it. The whole point of a Bristol board is in presentation. If it wasn't going to be presented, why couldn't it just be a written write-up? Like, jeez. Okay, so I play hockey, I play hockey? Yeah, I do play hockey, I guess. That makes sense. Oh my god, my house are getting infested with these fruit flies. They're everywhere. Freak. Anyway, I play hockey tonight against Colton's team. Colton's going down. We beat his team 8-4. Right now our team is 2-1. I have 1 goal, 2 assists in our 3 games. I'm a left winger. Don't know why I don't play center. Can't tell ya. But yeah. So today in math class we're sitting there and, well, no Dale. We don't know where he is. So we figure that he's staying home to do his music project, which is the likely story. But then halfway through music class, he just burst, math class, sorry, first block, he comes in, he's staggering, and he's pale white, and his eyes are bloodshot to hell. It looked like he had hardcore pink eye or something, and they were like all fiery red, and we're like, holy shit, Dale, what's going on? But all he did was really kind of like groan. He didn't really explain or anything, just sat down, and way the lesson went. So that was a weird morning. Speaking of weird people in math class, you know my friend Carmen, he's a super smart guy. He's like the smartest guy in the class. Right now we're in advanced math doing grade 10 and 11 when we're supposed to be in grade 9. And his average is legitimately 100. I think he got a 7.5 out of 10 on a quiz the other day. So it drops down to like 99.8. And I'm a pretty smart guy myself, okay? Let's not get this wrong. I average an 86, so I turn to him for help a lot of times. Anyway, he's got a full-fledged beard, and he is huge. He's like 6'1"? Okay, well, it's huge for me. Maybe he's 6'2". He's 6'1" or 6'2". He's a bigger guy than me. I'm only like 5'6". So yeah, he's a fun guy to be around. Block 2, gym class, but this week we have health, and we're learning about murder calls, and how girlfriends get beaten up by their boyfriends and killed and stuff, and that's really sad to hear, and it's creepy because it's like murder on Halloween month, October-ish, spookiness stuff, sorta, kinda. Lunch. So we're sitting there in lunch and Tyler walks in. Tyler, he sits down and he looks really sick. His face is all bluish white. He's holding his stomach the entire day, and today, and like he walks kind of like staggered, and he feels sick. He doesn't want to eat his normal food. So by the time music comes in block 3, he has to go to the office, and so I go along to make sure he gets there fine. I don't know why, the teacher told me to. And because it's on the other side of the hall, if he ends up fainting, we don't want him dead in the hallway. So he was in the bathroom for a little bit. He was feeling really nauseous, sick to his stomach, like he couldn't find the right food. And then he went home, so that was another weird thing. No, I'm not kidding. Carmen's beard, it grows overnight to like... It actually makes me wonder. Block 4. Tech class. I already told you what happened in tech. I got my project back, 90 out of 100, and my tests, 57 out of 60, which is a 95%. And we were learning about like binary code in computers today, which was kind of, it's fun. It's like the Matrix. It's pretty cool. So that's all we have for today on Day in Review. Halloween's coming up. Look forward to a nice Halloween. And yeah, I'll see you then. Wait a minute. Halloween is the time of ghosts and goblins and monsters to come out of the dark, to be unleashed out of our souls and our human bodies. Now that I look back on today, Dill's eyes were bloodshot. He was white as a ghost. He was feeling very cold. His teeth are always messed up. And I mean Tyler was sick as a dog, and he didn't like his normal food. I had to bring him home because he couldn't walk straight and he was staggering. He couldn't even think in math class. And Carmen, he's hairy. No, I'm just kidding myself. I mean, they couldn't really be. Forget about it. Okay, I'll see you guys next time on A Day in Review.